Dear viewers, one day in the month of Ramadan, a saint of Allah was returning home from a trip. At that time, suddenly, it was time for iftar on the road. He then hurriedly went to a house and saw a beautiful girl and addressed her, saying, "Oh, Muslim sister, I am a fasting person. I was returning home from a trip. Suddenly, it was time for iftar, but I do not have a drop of water to break my fast. Please give me some water so that I can break my fast." Hearing this, the girl said, "Come inside the house. I will make arrangements." Then the girl brought various items of food and offered them. Then the saint of Allah thanked the Almighty and started breaking his fast, but he did not know that this girl was a famous prostitute in the city. Her real name was Layla, and people called her the Queen of the Night. Then the next day, when the saint of Allah was sleeping, he saw in his dream that a man dressed in white came and said, "O servant of Allah, how did you, being a true believer, go and break your fast in the house of a prostitute?" Hearing this, the saint of Allah was stunned and said, "I did not know that the girl was a person of bad character. If I had known, I would never have gone to her house." Then the man said, "Since the girl has done you a favor by giving you food, you should also do her a favor. By all means, bring him from the bad path to the good path." Hearing this, the saint of Allah said, "Is it possible if you want to? He is a famous prostitute. The rich people of the city go to spend the night with him. Will he want to leave his kingdom of sin and return?" Then the man showed some anger and said, "He will not want to be good because he is in the kingdom of sin." "How do you know this? Did you ever offer him the opportunity to be good?" Hearing this, the saint of Allah fell silent. Then the next day, the saint of Allah went to that Layla again. Then she did not make a mistake in recognizing the face of the saint of Allah. Seeing him, she became a little unprepared. Seeing this situation, the saint of Allah said, "I did not come to spend time with you. Rather, I came to tell you a truth." Hearing this, Layla was surprised at first, but became curious about his words. The saint of Allah then said again, "I am an ordinary person. I am still searching for the direction of light, and you are a person who can call towards the light, even in the darkness." Layla laughed at his mysterious words, but an unknown thrill flowed behind his smile. This person seemed to be able to hear the questions hidden in the depths of her mind. Then he handed a piece of paper to Layla and left. On that paper, it was written, "You were created not just to entertain people. The purpose of your birth is deeper. Do you want to know the truth?" Reading this, Layla fell into thought. Even late at night, Layla could not sleep. A storm was raging in her heart. She wondered who this man really was. Why had he come to me? Then the next day, Layla went out in search of that saint of Allah, but after much searching, she could not find him. Finally, Layla went to the city's Hakim and asked for information about the traveler. The Hakim was surprised at first, but then whispered, "Layla, this man is no ordinary person. Do you know that person?" Layla replied, "No. I only know that he has put me in a trap of questions." Then the Hakim said, "Actually, the man is a saint. His name is Zayed. Many years ago, he was a rich businessman, but one day he left everything and went out in search of the truth. He only goes to those for whom Allah has a plan." Hearing this, Layla's heart trembled. She could not believe that a saint of Allah had come for a prostitute like her. Then Layla left from Hakim in search of Allah's wali. Meanwhile, Allah's wali was sitting in a mosque. He was extremely happy to see Layla coming and said in a soft voice, "If you have come, then I believed you would come." Then Layla said dryly, "Why did you make me stand before these questions?" Hearing this, Allah's wali smiled and said, "Because you know you were not born just to be a beauty for one night. Rather, Allah Almighty created you as the queen of the house." These words shook Layla's heart. Then Allah's wali said again, "Well, Layla, how did you get involved in this disgusting act? Didn't you even think about your self-respect once?" Hearing this, Layla's heart burst into tears. She cried and said, "No girl willingly gives up her honor. Circumstances forced her to do this. Unfortunately, I lost my parents when I was a child. Then a businessman adopted me, but after a few days, he betrayed me and sold me to a brothel for a high price. Since then, I have been a prostitute." Before Layla could finish speaking, 2 armed men suddenly rushed to them. They came and said, "Layla will remain in her old life. This queen of the night can never find the path of light." Saying this, one of them took a weapon and went towards Allah. Seeing this scene, Layla's heart started beating. She did not know what to do. At one point, Layla said in a trembling voice, "Don't hurt this person. He has done nothing wrong. Tell me, what do you want now?" Then one of the armed men said, "You need to come back. You are a jewel for our brothel, the source of our strength. If you leave, our existence will be in danger." Hearing this, Layla felt very sad. She felt like a product of a subjugated business. Then the saint of Allah said in a soft voice, "Layla, the true value of a person is hidden in his heart. If you want freedom, you have to decide now." Then Layla took a deep breath and said in a calm voice, "I don't want to go back to that life." Hearing this, a gunman jumped towards Layla, but before he could, he came and stood in front of the saint of Allah. Then the gunman pushed the saint of Allah to the ground with a strong push. Seeing this, Layla screamed and, gathering courage, hit the man on the head with a stone. Then, in the blink of an eye, she took the saint of Allah and ran. Layla, the saint of Allah and the prostitute, was running with all her might, and the sound of chasing could be heard from behind. But Layla now had only one thing on her mind: "I want freedom. I want the truth." At one point, they took refuge in an old house. Zayed, the saint of Allah, was bleeding from his forehead, but there was peace in his eyes. He said in a tired voice, "Layla, you have won your first battle." Then Layla gasped, "But my path has not yet begun. I don't know what other tests are in store for me." Then Zayed smiled softly and said, "That's the truth. The journey of a traveler is never easy." Meanwhile, the armed men were gathering again on the other side of the city. They knew that Layla had escaped, but they did not know that Layla was no longer the queen of the night. Meanwhile, Layla and Zayed were hiding in the old house. Layla's heartbeat was still racing, but a new feeling was working in her mind. It was a kind of courage, a taste of freedom. Then Layla whispered to Zayed, "What should we do now?" Then Zayed said thoughtfully, "You have to leave the city, but this dark world will not let you go easily." Hearing this, Layla was silent for a moment. Then she said, "But where should I go? I have no one in this world." Then Zayed said, "The one who has no one in the court of Allah is the strongest. Do not lose faith in Allah. He has promised that if anyone tries to go on the path of Allah, He will open countless roads and help." Then Layla, the saint of Allah and prostitute, went out to leave the city at night. But after going for a while, she saw armed men patrolling the border nearby. Seeing this scene, Layla took a deep breath. Then Zayed said with fear, "There is nothing to be afraid of. There is a secret tunnel in the city, which is very old. Only a few experienced people know about him. We will escape through that path. You will not be unnecessarily afraid." Then Layla smiled and said, "What are you afraid of? Since you are with us, there is nothing to be afraid of, but I want freedom anyway." Then Layla, the saint of Allah and the prostitute, started walking through the tunnel. After a while, suddenly footsteps were heard from behind. Perhaps some of the armed men were following. Zayed then looked at Layla and said, "This time, Layla is dependent on you. Will you move forward on the path of truth, or will you return to darkness again?" Then Layla closed her eyes for a moment and said, "I want light. I do not want to go to darkness. Layla was silent for a while and whispered again, will we be caught then? Then Zayed said in a calm voice, the path of truth is never easy, but those who trust in Allah never lose. Continuing on like this, she went to the other side of the tunnel and saw that there was an iron door in front of her, which could only be opened from the outside. Seeing this, Layla became disheartened and said, what will happen now? The sound of gunmen chasing her was coming from behind. Then Zayed, the saint of Allah, recited a prayer and slowly pushed on a part of the door, saying, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Immediately, the door slammed and fell to the ground. Then they came out saying, Alhamdulillah. Then Layla's heart remembered a verse from the Quran, which says, I will certainly open my way for those who struggle in my path. Then Layla, the saint of Allah, and the prostitute started running on the desert road with a tired body. If she went a little further, they might go beyond their reach. At that moment, Layla heard a sound from behind. Looking back, she saw an arrow from the armed men running toward Zayed. Layla then put her body in front of Zayed and took the arrow into her body. As a result, Layla fell to the ground with a thud. Then Zayed screamed in surprise and looked at her and saw that blood was soaking her clothes. But there was peace in Layla's eye. She was saying, I am free now. I have come out of the darkness. Just then, some mysterious people appeared from the depths of the desert. One of them put his hand on Zayed's shoulder and said, you are travelers on the path of truth. That is why Allah Almighty has sent us to help you. Then they made Layla sit on the back of a camel. Then Zayed looked at her in surprise and said, who are you? In response, one said, we are the travelers who are searching for the direction of light, and from today, Layla is one of us. Meanwhile, the armed men saw those strange travelers from afar and stopped. They did not dare to go any further. Then, after walking for 3 days and 3 nights, Layla, the saint of Allah, and the prostitute arrived at a small village. Layla then whispered, where have we come from? In response, one of the travelers said, this is a refuge, a secret place for those who seek the truth. Then, when Layla entered the village, an old woman came forward and said, you are the girl who wanted to come out of the darkness? Layla then lowered her head and said, I do not know if I am really worthy of this life. Then the old woman smiled and said, the mercy of Allah is greater than all sins. You just start. Then Layla started a new life there. She began to learn the divine word of Allah from people. Then one day, Allah's apostle Zayed went to Layla and said, from now on, you are not just Layla, you are a new servant of Allah. Hearing this, Layla took a deep breath. She did not say anything. Then Zayed said to her, Layla, what are you thinking now? Then Layla replied, I wonder what true liberation is. Then Zayed smiled and said, liberation comes only when you learn to love your Lord more than yourself. Hearing this, Layla's eyes got wet, and she said, then can I really start anew? Zayed replied, of course, because no one can close the heart of the one whom Allah Almighty opens. Then one day, Layla was sitting under a tree and reading the Quran. At that time, Allah's apostle Zayed came to her and said, Layla, we have been by each other's side for a long time. Starting this journey with you is one of the greatest honors of my life. But now, I want to ask you a question. Layla then smiled and said, okay, tell me what you want to say. Then Zayed said, do you want to spend the rest of your life with me in the path of Allah? Hearing this, tears started flowing in Layla's eyes. A strange peace was felt in her heart, and she said, I definitely want to. I want our path in the path of Allah to continue and you to become a part of my life. Then Zayed smiled sweetly and said, then I want to accept you as my life partner. Do you want to be my wife? Hearing this, Layla became emotional. She could not answer at all, but Zayed understood her expression correctly. Then their wedding was arranged in the presence of the most respected people in the village. Layla and Zayed married each other with respect. As a result, their new life began in the name of Allah. Dear friends, if you liked the video, give it a like and definitely give your valuable opinion in the comment box.